And we're underway. This is map 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's going to be Orbital. And Team Batonix winning map 1, which was Shore, pretty convincingly. I think it was 6 or 7 to 3. Again, this is the development matches in this tournament. This is RAAF.CTF.1. It's a normal weapons UT99 tournament. It's a draft league, essentially, where players from the competitive community all sign up. They get a salary. And then captains will draft players based on their salary and some of the limitations like the salary cap. So this is week 1 of that tournament, and a development game is essentially where there are certain limitations on how much of your salary you can use to play your match. So it basically allows the lower ranked players to get a chance to get some competitive games under their belt, which I think is nice. So we're going to start out with the dev matches and then eventually go into the regular matches where everyone can use in the top 5. In this case, we've already got a nice run from Thomas out through middle into his lower on Orbital. If his team can see, oh, and it looks like there was one in front of him. But Paradigm, Johnny on the spot, picks up the flag and a nice little piston boot jump off the pillar into his high bio entrance. He's got one in front of him, though, going for the 180 headshot. 3 in front of him. Flag is off the stand at the minigun. His teammates are swooping in to seal up the flag room. He's got one in front of him. Down, oh, 3 in front of him. He's bulldozing straight for the flag and captures it right before he loses his life, making it 1-0 for Team Batonix here in map 2. Trigger already on the regrab as there were 2 of his teammates there trying to make something of it, but you got to think that Team Batonix is going to collapse as they do, shutting down that potential rebound flag run. So already 2 minutes into the game here on Orbital, and a cap is on the board. Atypical in high-level Orbital games because it is so difficult just to grab and get out of the flag room, as we're seeing a nice, or what could have potentially been a nice run for Batonix again, as they did have an amp and a belt plowing the way for him, but a nice return. Xenocyte on the grab. Keeping the pressure on is Team Batonix. I like that on Orbital. Just spamming some bubbles out to the translocate. Oh, and he gets telefrag. Trigger. Notorious for that one. Nicely done by him. Just take a look, and already Thomas with 4 grabs on Orbital. Not even 3 minutes into the game. That's impressive. Picking up some cover from his teammate, Paradigm, also known as Bleh. Trying to set up a piston launch here. Goes through it and gets right past 2 of the defenders, trying to cut him off in middle, but sniped from behind. And for some reason, the view flag at the flag post is functioning poorly. I think I'm going to turn off the spec mod so it should make that work better. And it's still doing it. Well, that's unfortunate. At least get some third-person view here going. There's Paradigm with a pickup. Oh, and he is sniped by Trigger to cut that flag run pretty short. Already you see Paradigm playing that floater position. He's going to push up and cover, maybe occasionally make flag runs like you saw there. And then other times he's going to fall back for the appropriate cutoff. So he's going to be the jack of all trades, particularly on a map that's as open and as large as Orbital. As we see him pushing up into the enemy hive with that amp, going to try to make something of it. But already his teammate is getting cut off by the enemy amp. But Paradigm was there, able to get the pickup. Both of them missing their shots, but that's a nice dodge combo from Paradigm. Spamming bubbles for dear life. But Nudla was in good position in the enemy low amp position to get that cutoff and the return. Solid run by Paradigm, but just not quite enough support from his team to see that one through. And Thomas still keeping up the pace. Already 5 grabs. He's got an assist on the only cap of this map. Again, Batonix's team winning map 1 pretty convincingly on Sino. Getting the early cap to start off Orbital. This is it was a promising looking run by Team Nudla. Gets cut short by a telefrag from behind. We're seeing some kind of uncoordinated grabbing right now. Orbital is a map that unless the enemy defense is kind of sleeping or they're out of the base collecting armor or something, you're not going to typically get very far on a solo run. You need some support, you know, particularly trying to get out of the base, because even if you kill the defenders, they're going to spawn in front of you and head to the choke points to stop you. So you need some support. So these one-off grabs aren't going to typically amount to much. Here's a little bit of coordination we're seeing from Team Nudla, but I don't think they're moving the flag fast enough in this case. They're kind of just grabbing the flag and stalling at either the in-base shock. Meanwhile, Xenoscythe has already made it to mid with a nice headshot, but he's eaten up from behind by the sniper rifle and trigger. That's a good return, because if they make it into their low, it's going to be tough to pursue that and get the return. But we're seeing Nudla's team be a little bit more coordinated on their last run, but they need to be faster with it. They need to, you know, get in, get a clean grab, and then head straight for the exits. Hope for some appropriate support as Thomas, he's got all kinds of cover, making it out the enemy flak, and he's going to elevator jump to the minigun. He's got to watch out for that telefrag, but his teammates are in great position to cover him, but he gets sniped from long distance, but Nudla is there to return it. And again, Zeddy is kind of just grabbing and hanging out at the shock rifle, and they're pretty keen to what he's doing. They know he's just stalling in base and waiting for cover, so instead of letting him do that, they just go straight for the return, and that combo by Paradigm was a thing of beauty. Goodness gracious, he's got his piston out. Let's see if he's going to do another PBJ, probably into his goo. He likes that one. He pulls it off. Oh, he misses it this time. That's unfortunate, but he's going to head straight into his low with a belt cover. The armor is up. He's going to grab that. Meanwhile, where is the EFC? The EFC has already made it to middle. He's going to make it into his low. Les going to drop it off to Thomas, who has the belt. That's a smart move. Perhaps go for the return, as the EFC has already made it into their base. First flag standoff of the map here on Orbital. And this is important. This is an extremely important flag standoff, as if Batonix is able to win it, they're going to increase their lead and get that buffer cap, which is hugely important on Orbital. Or we could see the equalizer. You got to watch out for that telefrag. That is the great equalizer against tons of cover, as Trigger's able to sneak in and get that amp. The primary removes the belt from Thomas, but some appropriate cover from his two teammates is able to eliminate that amp. And here comes an amp belt onto Toxa over in his base. I'm not sure how much cover he has. This is looking rough for him. He's going to have to hold fast. There's one guy coming to swoop in for the cover. Let's see what's going on with Thomas in the low. He's got one right on him with the bubble. He's down to the goo, but still solid cover from his teammates there. So the standoff has been somewhat lengthy, although Orbital is typically a map where you see lengthy standoffs because the map is so long and it just takes a while to coordinate the retakes, where you just go at them and try to get the return. As we see both teams employing different tactics. Team Batonix opting for the low position, too tight cover, with Team Nudla opting for leaving the EFC right by the flag and kind of letting the cover be a bit too far away. And at this point, I think he's solo. And finally, someone comes in. He gets bubbled. It's a one-on-one here in his flag room. He's got to be careful. That sniper rifle is lethal. And we see Thomas has actually rotated to that same position. In-base shot, waiting for the return. Neither team able to come up with it at this point. This has been a lengthy standoff. Team Nudla hoping to get that return and get the equalizer. They need this map win after losing Sino map 1 pretty convincingly. It's a point-based system here in the Draft League. You don't play best of 3. It's just, oh, as the flag does go down, will they get the return? Nudla, though, is there to pick it up. I don't think we're seeing that coordinated of returns. It's just kind of sniping from distance and then hoping to get in there and get the return yourself. But that typically doesn't work against a team that's showing as good a teamwork as both of these guys right now. Sticking close, making sure that if the flag gets dropped, it gets re-grabbed and picked up. The Toxa, his cover is surprisingly Oh, the amp is on Paradigm. This spells trouble. He's down to 13 HP, but the perfectly placed primary eliminates Zed Ed. Oh, he's mesmerized, says Paradigm. I don't know if that was an intentional suicide just to give the flag to Thomas. It could have been. If so, he did it in the grandest fashion possible. Here we go. This flag standoff has been going on for several minutes now. This looks promising for Team Nudla. Can we see the up-close return? No. Volatile is smacked down by Thomas's well-placed rockets, and Toxa is headshot from distance. Nudla on the re-grab, and that's going to be a return for Batonix, but Trigger, the desperation grab. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold on to that grab for too long. His Paradigm was in perfect placement to kill him and get the return, and Thomas, who held that for pretty much the entire time for his team, gets on the board with a cap of his own. All he needs is a flag kill for the complete game. And we're seeing Team Batonix up 2-0 here on Orbital with just under 9 minutes remaining. And that's a lot of work for Nudla. Orbital caps are few and far between. They are hard to come by. And at this point, it's looking like it's going to be a 2-0 victory, I would say. I'm going to go out on a limb unless we see something crazy. Another attempted boost. It's somewhat successful. He gets stuck on the wall, but eats all sorts of damage from the flak. But meanwhile, Toxa has made it to mid again. He's down to 45 HP, looking to pick up some cover. He's going to make it into his low. He's got one cutting him off, though, on the bridge. Too much cover in mid, not enough, sealing the base. He's going to stall outside at the shot. Can he make it? No. Batonix on the return. Team Batonix looking solid here in their dev match. Take a look at the scoreboard, and it's kind of being put on the backs of Batonix and Paradigm. Heavy fragging there. But some good teamwork shown by Team Batonix for sure. As it's looking like Nudla's going to have potentially a good run. Trying to get out to middle, but cut off quickly. Has to retreat. Trying to get some cover in mid at the exits. He is going to get it. Boosted from behind. Flag is down. And there comes the return, unfortunately. Team Nudla having a hard time getting across the middle once they do get the flag there. We're approaching the 7-minute mark. Another grab from Zeddy, and he has some cover from Nudla from up high. Drops the flag. I think the belt is going to get it. That's Volatile. Getting some boost from behind. Is Volatile going to try to make it out high? He does. Opting for the low entrance again. Oh, nope. Perhaps the boot jump into the minigun. I'm not sure about this call. Minigun is a bit of the long road to get into your high. I would have liked to have seen him gone to the bio entrance, but perhaps just going to stall in the flak room just like that and allow his cover to take out his would-be assailants. As meanwhile, the EFC is right beneath them, and they don't even realize it. It's a collision course. Thomas loses his life. Flag will be returned, and just in typical UT fashion, we get the simultaneous returns. Didn't get to see the other one. But another would-be capture thwarted for Team Nudla, and they just can't seem to get on the board here on Orbital. As here comes another amp run, but Trigger taking out Paradigm from distance at the Vials position. Good to see that Team Batonix is still being aggressive despite being up 2-0. Pushing with that amp rather than dropping back to defense. And again, another one-off grab, but a nice combo from Z. He's going to make it out high. Let's see if he can pick up some cover in mid. He's got one there in front of him, but they don't see. I believe that's... I'm not sure who that was who got the kill, but Toxa is able to get the pickup. He's still alive in mid, looking for some cover below the belt, and that'll be returned by Flak B. Meanwhile, Paradigm has the enemy flag in the flak room. He's going to stall, wait for some cover, and probably make a move. I'd like to see him go lower. He's gone with that low piston into your goo twice. The first one was successful, the second not so much. But I believe it did result in a capture, as again, Z's woes continue. He's having a hard time getting cover in the flag room. They're kind of relying on him just to make it out on his own, which is not a high percentage play on Orbital. His Paradigm is able to be patient and get the enemy amp. Here he does come through middle, completely uncontested, and finally they see him from his own sniper rifle, but he's got that amp in mid, looking to connect on trigger. He does. Follows it up with a combo onto Volatile. Paradigm providing his own cover. He doesn't need any from his teammates. Picks up the armor, but meanwhile the EFC is already out low. He's being trailed by 2. Looking to pick up some cover. He runs out of shotgun, gets gooed, and Xenoscythe returns it with the goo. What a play. Trigger going for the hero telefrag return. Cannot do so as that amp is just too much. Paradigm looking solid, carrying his team right here. 41 frags, 8 covers, 2 caps, 1 assist off 3 grabs. Just doing some serious damage. He's got 8 amps, and that's probably a big reason that he's doing so well. Of course, his superior fragging ability also plays into that. Nice headshot from Thomas to get his own cover and get off the flag cleanly, but picks the wrong route to go. Goes lower where 2 are waiting for him. Xenoscythe is going to wisely opt to go back upper, pick up some health, and wait for the over rotate, and then just juke back low. I like that move. He's at low mid, perhaps a pickup. Here it comes. Again, Paradigm in great position to get those pickups. He's going to opt for the other side this time. Pistons into his minigun. He's going to opt to come through lower. He's got 2 cover there. Stalling a bit as he I guess he's getting word that the flag room is dirty. Yes, there's 2 in there. He eats a little bit of rockets down to 75 HP. With 3 minutes remaining, this could be 4-0. As this patience is going to pay off. His teammates clean up the flag room, except for 1 trying to lurk with the shock rifle. Cannot connect. Too much health on Paradigm. He makes it his 3rd cap, making a hat trick on 3 grabs. He needs a seal, though, for the complete game. And that's going to put it out of reach. We're seeing Team Batonix looking stellar in their dev match thus far. In the second map of week 1. Nudla trying to connect with the boot jump combo. Getting minigun from behind down to 11 HP. Cannot escape Flak B's mini. Down he goes. Two minutes left. Again, this one pretty much all sewn up in favor of Team Batonix. Stellar performance again by Paradigm, also known as Bleh. One of the best, just all-around UT99ers in the world. CTF, TDM, Deathmatch. The man does it all. But some great performances by his teammates. Batonix, captain of the team. And Thomas showing us some really nice flag running here on Orbital, which is not a map that a lot of players know how to run. Particularly Euros, because I'm pretty sure it's not a big-time pick of theirs. They were used to the no boosting mentality, the no boosting rule set, and now that it is allowed and you can PBJ and do all of that, what we call cheese, you know, the team boosting and the piston boot jumps, all that stuff. Now that they do that, it opens up these bigger maps like Bulwark and Orbital to being played. Lava Giant. You really couldn't play those without the boosting because players have gotten too good, and it comes down to 1-0 games usually after long overtimes, which is just not entertaining to play. It's not entertaining to watch. So down to the final minute, and this is pretty much garbage time. Again, picking up the enemy amp is Team Batonix. Poor timing. If you take a look at the stats, 61% of the amps going over to Team Batonix, and that's huge on a map that has 2 amps, because that means you're getting the enemy amp. This is probably going to be 5-0 unless we see a telefrag. Thomas hits the ceiling. Not quite the clean piston he wanted, but doesn't matter. Gets the cap anyway. That's 5-0, which in Orbital terms is pretty much a beatdown, to be honest. It's, you know, a cap on Orbital is like 2 caps on a map like Ascanine, maybe even 3. They're much harder to come by. It takes a lot more teamwork. But Team Batonix showing they have that in spades. Here to kick off RAAF.CTF.1. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Going to be doing all kinds of UT99 matches this afternoon. Of course, Going to be continuing with some of the RAAF.CTF games, and we'll also do some of the Dual Cup that that Blez putting on. So some 1v1s, some good ones, upper bracket games. As Team Batonix takes it in both maps. I mean, we're not going to play. We wouldn't play a tiebreaker even if they didn't win, but getting both maps in your first dev match is pretty crucial. Good way to start the season, build some confidence for your team.